Jessica Dawson. I'm a dietitian from Milwaukee Public Schools Department of Nutrition Services, and I'm here today to cook with you. We received a grant from USDA called the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program, and with grant funds, we bought produce bags for families in Milwaukee. If you'd like to participate in our program, you can go to any of our 50 Stop Grab and Go meal sites on school days. We're open from 11 to 1:30. We also have 3 different evening hour sites that are open between 3 and 5 p.m. Those are North Division, South Division, and Obama. On Thursdays is when you get a free produce bag though. And this week you're getting a beautiful Asian-inspired bag. So let's go over what you'll be receiving. We have garlic, fresh ginger, mangoes, carrot, enoki mushroom, daikon radish, broccolini, red pepper, and fresh spinach. And what are you going to be making this week? Vegetable fried rice, a simple and healthy Asian-inspired recipe. So let's get started, and we're going to be also talking about personalizing your plate with picky eaters. So what's our first step? Prepping our vegetables. We're going to take our broccolini, and this is like broccoli with a thinner stem and a smaller floret at the top. So let me just show that to you. And we need about a half cup. So you want to wash your vegetables before you get started, and then we're just going to kind of rough chop this down a little bit. And I want a little bit of floret, and I also want a little bit of stem in my recipe, just for a nice balanced look. And broccolini has similar health benefits to regular broccoli that we're used to, which is great for preventing cancer. So let's put that to the side. Next, we have daikon radish. This is integral in Asian cooking, and it can be eaten raw, cooked, or pickled, like in kimchi. So we're just gonna clean up the outside a little bit, and we need about a half cup of this as well. So with this one, we're just gonna slice it similar to a carrot. I'm gonna cut it down, and I like to cut mine in half and make little crescent moons. So let's slice it here. And this is really crisp and watery, and it has a great source of vitamin C and also folate. And that's so important for immune health, and also in moms when they're expecting, folate is so important for neural tube defects. Okay, that is done. Now we have our enoki mushrooms. These are native to Japan, and their name means snow puffs, and they are long and slender and quite beautiful, and they have a sweet, mild taste. And in my house, they are very accepted because in dishes they seem like noodles, and anything that's like a noodle wins. So we're gonna cut it into 1-inch strips. You can leave it whole, but it gets a little bit stringy that way. And you can see I cut the bottom inch off. It does grow in jars, so you're gonna notice that little, almost like a root there. So we have this up to the side, and you can see we can just pick it apart very easily with our little mushroom stems. So that is it for our preparations right now, but we already have a red bell pepper that has been chopped up, and that's half a cup, and then we have shredded carrot. So let's get cooking on the stovetop now. We're gonna turn on our heat, and we are going to heat up about a tablespoon of oil. And vegetable oil works really great for this recipe because it is good for higher temperatures. It has a higher smoke point than an olive oil, but olive oil has that extra heart health benefit. So let's have that heat for just a moment, and we have 1 egg that I have cracked in my little dish here, and we're just gonna scramble it. And you can scramble with a fork or a whisk, whatever you have around. And then we are gonna cook this off and put it to the side. So just swirl your oil around your skillet so you don't have your egg stick. And you want it to be nice and hot and a little bit of shimmer so your egg doesn't stick to the pan. We'll just pour that on and let it cook for a moment. And it's already starting to go. So let's scramble this. And after it's scrambled, we're gonna put it to the side for later. Now, I love vegetable fried rice because in my house we eat a lot of rice, and there always tends to be leftovers. And with this recipe, you want to use up your leftover rice, which gets a little bit drier the second day, and that's perfect for absorbing the flavors of your vegetables. So our egg is done. We're going to put it in a clean bowl. You don't want to put it in the same bowl with a raw egg because we want to practice good food safety. And next, we are going to cook off our vegetables and stir fry them. So we're going to be taking our cutting board over here. We're just gonna add a little extra oil to our pan, approximately another tablespoon. And then we will dump them in. First our mushrooms, next our daikon, and then our broccolini. And you're gonna notice I'm pretty generous with my vegetables. I tend to always put in a little bit extra just for good nutrition. And then we'll put in our red pepper. Now red pepper, great source of vitamin C. And when you have vitamin C with iron, which is in your spinach and a little bit in the pepper, it helps increase iron absorption. And when you increase the iron absorption, it helps prevent things like anemia. So I'm adjusting my heat. I want perfect sizzles and pops. And now I'm gonna be dumping in my carrots, which have that anti-cancer compound in them, especially good for preventing leukemia. Now spinach, perfect for hair, skin, and nail health. So put good food on the inside, get results on the outside. It's great. We have 2 cups here, two good handfuls. Next we have 2 cloves of garlic. And there's been some rumors during COVID-19 that garlic can help with COVID prevention. Unfortunately, that hasn't been proven true. And even though garlic can help with the common cold prevention, at this time it's just best to follow CDC guidelines for good COVID practices, whether it's social distancing or mask wearing to prevent illness. Lastly, we also have a teaspoon of ginger. Now, ginger contains something called gingerol, which is a compound that helps prevent the bacteria growth in your mouth that can turn into things like gingivitis. So great antibacterial compounds here. And our dish is looking beautiful already with all these colors. Let me give it a quick stir. Next, we're going to be seasoning it. And I have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And I have 1 teaspoon of soy sauce. And let's season that one more time and stir it. So this is a very hot stovetop. Everything cooks down and wilts pretty quickly. So we're just gonna kind of keep it moving. And once everything is all wilted, we're gonna be adding in our egg and rice again. Perfect. So I'm gonna kind of insulate it with my rice now, and I have a long grain rice. I am using basmati this week, but you can use whatever you have at home, follow the cooking directions on the bag, and use leftovers. It works better than fresh. So this is a good time-saving tip as well, because you can make a big batch the night before for a different dish, and then you have everything ready to go the next day. And I'm gonna be adding in 3 cups to my mixture. So while this is cooking and warming up, let's talk about picky eaters. If you have kids, at some point in them growing up, I'm sure you've experienced picky eating. It's extremely common during the toddler years, but some kids it lasts all the way through adulthood. So what can you do? I know it can be frustrating, I have been there too. Well, the first thing you can do is respect your child's appetite. You don't want to force food if they're not quite hungry. And you want to give meals at about the same time each day, because routine will help the child know when it's time to eat versus when it's not. Next, family meals. With family meals, we're turning off the screen, we're having good conversation, and we're serving the same dish to everybody. Now this makes it easier on the parents and caregivers, and it helps the children to know that what they're given is what they should try. Even though I know it's really tempting to make them their favorite grilled cheese sandwich or whatever their food jag is at the moment that they like to eat all the time. Next, avoid food fights with your kids. Now we're not talking about throwing food here. We're talking about the parent is responsible for buying the groceries and preparing the food, especially when they're younger, and then the child determines what they eat on their plate. So we don't want to force feed, and we want to just respect the child, but offer them everything they need for healthy growth. Now this one's hard, and I can promise that I've done it once or twice, unfortunately. Don't use bribes. Don't say, if you eat everything on your plate, I'm gonna give you ice cream or whatever that special treat will be, because in the long run, it definitely does backfire and you're gonna have fights at the dinner table. Now on my stovetop here, I'm just continuing to incorporate all my vegetables with my rice because I want nice even heating. My next tip for you is, if at first you don't succeed, try again. So it takes up to 10 times of exposing a new food to a child for them to understand that it tastes good maybe. And this program, the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable Program, does a great job with exposure. We've been giving you an unusual variety of fresh produce each week. So if they don't like it the first time, it's okay. Just try to incorporate it again, because over time, they may like it and it may become a favorite food. We also want to eat with our eyes. You're gonna notice I always have a ton of color in the foods that I'm making for you, because when things look pretty, they're more likely to taste good and be accepted by kids. But when you're serving a new item for the first time, you want to minimize waste by providing a smaller portion. Also, having the kids help you in the kitchen as much as possible is so important. And taking them to the grocery store with you and selecting 1 or 2 items for the week from the produce section is so great, because then they're more likely to eat it too. Now with older kids, if picky eating follows them to their teen years, have them go online and pick out a couple recipes and make a shopping list for you. It's a fun way to get them involved. So our recipe is looking incorporated now, and we are going to add in our egg that we scrambled. We're just gonna kind of break this up. And at this point, I'm gonna turn down my flame because I just want even heating, and I want everything to warm up nicely and be incorporated. All right. You can also pair old favorites with new flavors. So we are naturally predetermined to like sweet and salty flavors, but sour and bitter tend to be less favorite for kids. So what can you do about that? Well, you might want to pair broccoli and cheese, so you get the bitter with the salty, and different combinations like that to help kids understand and accept them better. So our fried rice is done already, so easy. And you can also add extra protein to here if you like. I always like a little shrimp or sometimes chicken in my fried rice. So let's put that on our plate, and then we are going to talk about our mango this week. Now lastly, if your child is really, truly picky and only eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches all the time, or whatever the item may be, talk to your pediatrician. They might have extra advice on how they can get the best nutrition possible. This is looking great, and it was ready in about 5 minutes. So quick meal with a good use of leftovers. So next, what I want to do is teach you about our mango. Let's put this aside for just a moment and get our cutting board back over here and flip it over for a clean side. So our mango is excellent for digestive health, and when you press on it, it should give slightly when it's ripe. So what I want to do is I want to show you how to cut it, or just one way of many. And we're just going to kind of put our knife past the big seed in the middle and go all the way around this oval. Okay, so we're in the mango now, and this is a great source of fiber. It has digestive enzymes in it, very good for constipation problems or diarrhea as well, just settling that tummy. So we are going to score it. And you're gonna kind of cut it to the peel, and we're making nice strips. We're gonna be doing a little bit of a grid pattern. Adults, help with this if you have young kids, because I don't want anyone cutting their hand. You can also peel mangoes as well and cut it using the same method around the seed, but without the grid pattern. So once we have that all the way down, we have a little mango flower. So this looks really pretty, and it's a nice garnish on your plate. And you can slide the knife along it to make your little cubes, and those will come out really nice and easily. Just make sure you cut all the way down to get those cubes off that mango. And this will be your fruit. Always thinking about balanced meals with fruit, vegetable, protein, and grain, practicing My Plate guidelines. So let's put a little fruit on the side of our fried rice. And that is looking tasty. Beautiful Asian-inspired balanced meal. Now for next week, we are going into the month of April already. And April 1st, we are going to be doing a special spring break meal bundle. And you'll be getting a produce bag from the Fresh Fruit and Vegetable program as part of that bundle. So I can't wait to see you again where we go over those recipes and what you'll be getting for your spring break holiday. I can't wait to cook with you again. Take care.